Mi nombre es Julián Bayo. Estoy en Yanapanakuna.
My name is Julián Bayo. I am from Sucre and I am the team coordinator for Yanapanakuna, Tirfan's partner in Bolivia. I am here to work with the community of San Luis. I am an evangelical believer who has been taught that to improve oneself, I must first learn to serve others. These teachings influence me a great deal, and I have seen a lot of poverty, and this has made me want to join Yanapanakuna. I became an evangelical as a child. My parents were Christian, and I learned a great deal from them and decided to embrace the Lord. I heard a teaching which said, not all those who call the Lord will enter the kingdom of heaven, but those who accept me as their personal salvation. Yanapanakuna started as a result of a plea by various communities who needed help. They had no access to health, education and communication. This is why Yanapanakuna trains group leaders within communities in the fields of health, education, agriculture, women's issues and spiritual awareness. Education is used to raise evangelical awareness through various activities, and we can see that these communities need us as there is great disorder and disorganization. They don't know what their rights are, and they are abandoned by local authorities and governments. No one speaks of them. The communities are neglected, as no one has the means to help them. The government only remember them when they need votes for the election. Yanapanakuna visits these communities and conducts a survey to establish the needs of each village. My thanks, as always, go out to my team, who are made up of great professionals. We have a doctor, Ruth, who trains men and women selected by the community to diagnose illnesses. We have Jose, who teaches men and women from various communities agronomy so they can care for their crops, build greenhouses and grow vegetables for their families. Gabby is responsible for the women and organizes the mother groups. She teaches mothers how to care for their children, cook healthy food and needlework for clothes making. Since working for Yanapanakuna, I have seen great results. Villages have started to produce vegetables and many have seen their first harvests and have been very surprised with the results. We've been very well received by the communities and villagers receive us with open arms. They are willing to work and they ask us to spend more and more time with them. They enjoy having us. At first it was difficult to reach the families of these communities as they were obliged to comply with traditional beliefs. Little by little they have learnt to understand the Word of God, to get to know Him through stories, and now there is a good acceptance. Families receive us into their homes and ask us to pray with them and read stories from the Bible. Alcoholism is a great problem. It is due to loss of heart, lack of work and money, and so out of desperation one seeks to forget one's needs and pains through alcohol. This is a problem here in San Luis. With the Word of God, we, and especially myself, are helping them to reflect that God has not put us here to worry about these things, but He has always wanted a family to live in peace, unified in love. This is what I teach. The drinking and the beating is changing. It has improved greatly since the arrival of Yanapanakuna. There is a change in these people's lives since we started working here. Change will leave behind their suffering, pain and poverty. Being in this community, I have seen disintegration. Fathers have to look elsewhere for work and money. They travel for up to 3 months, abandoning their families and children. This and lack of healthy food are major problems. Personally, I have had many difficulties. I have experienced the weakness of not refusing certain responsibilities which other brothers asked of me. At times I have had too many responsibilities in the communities, in church, and serving those who need my help. This has been my greatest hardship, feeling tired. However, I am pleased and I am sure God wanted me to do all these things. My encouragement is fueled by a desire to fulfill a duty, giving a hand to one who really needs it, visiting, orating, and teaching people a better way of life. This is what keeps me going on a daily basis. I've seen at first hand what people have managed to produce. Before, all they lived off was potato, wheat and hops. Now they can eat lettuce, tomatoes and green vegetables. Many of these communities had never seen these crops before. We stress the importance of sharing crops so other villagers may taste what is grown. That brings the community together and they work as one so all can benefit. Don Fausto said his community would have died without the greenhouses, and he is correct. I've seen how the climate has changed in these communities, and many times they do not reap what they sow. Sometimes we have drought, sometimes hailstorms. The weather no longer makes sense. Without the greenhouses, they would not have had vegetables to put in the cooking pot, so the greenhouses are very important to these communities. Yanapanakuna is growing. We have been well received by communities, councils and government. I believe we will continue to grow. All we need is financial support and help. I derive great pleasure from being here with these people and helping them. I recognize that I am neglecting my own family, and to be a good husband and father, one's family's needs need to be cared for. I often worry about this. However, with God's help, I shall overcome these problems and my time can be shared equally.
A mí personalmente me anima.
These children are the future of this community I love so very much. They are the hope of our communities, and I am sure they will build a better future. Right now, I would ask God to bless every one of my English brothers and sisters and their families. I also ask God to touch their hearts so that they remember us, Yanapanakuna, and these communities, and continue to help us so we can continue to keep coming here.
Día a día.